The silk of those sheets clung to my skin like a secret I wasn't ready to confess, cool against the flush creeping up my neck. It was 3 a.m. In our cramped Brooklyn walk-up, the kind of hour where the city hums low like a distant train rumble, and regrets feel heavier than the summer humidity pressing through the cracked window. My best friend, Mia, fiery, unapologetic Mia, with her laugh that could shatter glass, had crashed on the couch after too many cheap IPAs at that dive bar on Bedford, the one with the sticky floors and neon signs flickering like bad decisions. "Alex, you're a saint for letting me invade," she'd slurred, hugging me tight before stumbling off. Her perfume, a sharp citrus punch, lingering like an accusation. But it wasn't her bed I ended up in. It was his. Tiggs. Mia's older brother. The one who'd always been this untouchable shadow in our lives. Tall. Broad-shouldered. With that effortless lawyer polish from his corner office in Midtown. Ties nodded like he owned the skyline. I'd known him since we were kids in that sleepy Jersey suburb. Back when he'd ruffle my hair and call me kiddo while teaching me to throw a baseball in the cul-de-sac. The leather glove slapping against my palm under the relentless July sun. He was straight as the Holland Tunnel, or so I told myself for years, burying the ache every time his voice dropped low during family barbecues, that gravelly timbre cutting through the sizzle of burgers on the grill. Tonight, the apartment was a minefield of spilled drinks and forgotten jackets. Mia's place, our shared chaos since college graduation 3 years back, felt smaller with him visiting from the city, his suitcase dumped in the hall like an intruder. "Couch is yours, bro," he'd said earlier, clapping my shoulder, his touch lingering a beat too long, fingers warm through my thin tee, sending a jolt straight to my gut. The scent of his cologne, sandalwood and something sharper, like fresh-cut oak, had hung in the air all evening, mixing with the faint tang of rain-soaked streets outside. I nodded, played it cool, but my pulse betrayed me, thudding like bass from the club downstairs. Hours later, wide awake on that lumpy couch, the springs digging into my back like accusations, I heard it, the soft creak of floorboards. Mia steht shut. Her snores a muffled chainsaw symphony. Then his whisper, rough from sleep, "Alex? You up?" I froze, heart slamming against my ribs, the room spinning in the dark. "Yeah, I managed," voice cracking like a teenager's. He padded over, silhouette filling the doorway, wearing nothing but low-slung sweats that hugged his hips, the outline of muscle shifting under streetlight glow spilling from the fire escape. "Can't sleep either? This place is a sauna." The pause. Heavy as the thunder rumbling distant over the East River. "My bed's got AC. Come on." I should have said no. Should have laughed it off. Cracked a joke about boundaries or bros before hoes. But his eyes, those hazel depths, shadowed and searching, pulled me up like gravity. We moved quiet, feet whispering over the worn Persian rug Mia's mom had shipped from some flea market in Queens. His room smelled like him, clean laundry mixed with the faint, earthy bite of his aftershave, the kind that makes you think of pine forests after a storm. The bed was king-sized, absurdly plush for a guest crash pad, sheets crisp and white like surrender flags. "You take the left," he murmured, sliding in first, the mattress dipping under his weight. I hesitated, then followed, the space between us a chasm buzzing with static. Sleep didn't come easy. The fan whirred lazy overhead, stirring the air but not the tension. Every shift of his body echoed, a sigh escaping his lips, deep and ragged, like he'd been holding his breath all night. The city noise filtered in, a siren wailing blocks away, tires hissing on wet pavement, the occasional shout from late-night wanderers. My mind raced, replaying fragments, the way he'd glance at me during Mia's birthday last fall, when we all got blackout drunk on rooftop rows, his hand steadying my waist as I teetered on the ledge, thumb brushing skin accidental on purpose. Or that time in college, when he'd shown up unannounced after a bad breakup, crashing our dorm party, his eyes red-rimmed and vulnerable, collapsing into my bunk with a mumbled, "Don't tell Mia. We talk till dawn." His head on my pillow, breaths sinking in the humid dark. I'd wanted to lean in then, taste the salt on his skin, but fear clamped my throat shut. Here we were, inches apart, the heat of him radiating like a furnace. Pretending insomnia, and caught his profile in the sliver of moonlight, jaw clenched, lashes fanned dark against his cheek. He was 28, already climbing partner track at that cutthroat firm, suits tailored sharp as his wit, but tonight he looked younger, frayed at the edges. Divorced? Just single. Perpetually. With a string of dates that never stuck, women who called him intense. Mia confided once over takeout pad thai. Steam curling up like secrets. He's married to the job. Alex. But you get him. Her words had twisted in me. Sweet poison. Russell. His arm brushed mine, deliberate, accidental, and electricity sparked, coiling low in my belly. I held my breath, the room thickening, pulse thundering in my ears louder than the AC hum. Then he rolled toward me, eyes cracking open, locking on. Not sleepy. Not casual. Hungry. The air punched out of me, a sharp exhale that hung between us, tasting of mint from his toothpaste and the faint beer on his breath. Alex, he said, voice low, gravel wrapped in velvet. You ever wonder? The words died as his gaze dropped, to my lips, my throat, the rapid flutter there. Time fractured. Rain pattered sudden against the pane, a soft drumroll building to crescendo. I could smell it, ozone sharp, mingling with his warmth, the cotton of the sheets twisting under my fingers. My chest tightened, a dam cracking. Wonder what? I whispered, but it came out wrecked, needy. Deliberate, fingers tracing my jaw, calloused from signing endless briefs, rough against my stubble. The touch ignited, fire licking up my spine. This, he breathed, thumb pressing my lower lip, parting it gentle. Hiding in plain sight. Confession spilled then, raw as the storm breaking outside. He talked in fragments, voice cracking on the edges, the years of denial, the women who were safe harbors but never home, the way my laugh in group chats lit him up like Manhattan at midnight, that night in my dorm, when he'd almost kissed me but chickened out, terrified of shattering the family mosaic. Mia? Their parents' golden duo. Oblivious to the fault lines. I thought I was broken, he admitted, forehead pressing mine, breaths mingling hot and uneven. Straight lines only, right? But you, Alex, you've been the curve I've been chasing. I shattered first, surging up to claim his mouth, soft at the start, tentative, like testing storm clouds. Then fierce, tongues tangling with the urgency of withheld years, salt and need and the faint copper tang of bitten lips. His hands roamed, mapping me like evidence in a case he'd win at trial, palms sliding under my shirt, nails grazing ribs, eliciting gasps that dissolved into moans muffled against his neck. The bed creaked under us, a symphony of shifts and sighs, rain lashing the window in applause. Skin on skin, slick with sweat, the world narrowed to the slide of thighs, the arch of backs. His whispers, I've wanted this, lost in the thunderclap of release. Dawn crept in slow, pink fingers prying at the curtains, painting us in bruised light. We lay tangled, his head on my chest, heartbeat steady under my ear like a promise. But reality knocked, gentle at first, then insistent. Mia's voice from the kitchen, bleary and teasing, You two alive in there? Coffee's brewing. Lovebirds. Jake tensed. A shadow crossing his face. The lawyer mask slipping back. She knows, I murmured. Fingers threading his hair. Damp and wild. Not everything. He lifted. Eyes searching mine again. That look. The one that had unraveled me hours ago. Now laced with resolve. But she will. We will. He kissed me soft, lingering, tasting of morning and maybe. The scent of fresh brew wafted in. Grounding. The city stirred, horns blaring. Pigeons cooing on the sill. Life pulsing unapologetic. I didn't know then how it'd play out. The awkward family dinner where Mia's eyes widened. Then softened with that fierce loyalty. The nights of Jake sneaking over. Then not sneaking. The quiet battles with his firm's bro-culture whispers. My freelance gigs stretching thin under the weight of us. There'd be fights. Raw and rain-soaked on fire escapes. His doubts clawing back like old habits. But that look? It anchored. It said, we're not straight lines anymore. We're the bend. The beautiful detour. As sunlight spilled full across the bed, warming the sheets we'd ruined, I traced his knuckles, strong, changed forever. I echoed his gaze, voice steady for the first time. He smiled, slow and real, pulling me closer. In the heart of Brooklyn's grind, amid the neon haze and concrete pulse, we'd found our rhythm. Not perfect, not easy, but ours. And damn if that wasn't the plot twist worth every stolen breath.